Hello pilots and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. As always, my name is Phil and today we have a classic good guys versus bad guys. They have crossed the trilogies, but we've got X-Wings versus First Order, and with it being good guys versus bad guys, there's only one person we can really call on to talk to us about this. So we have with us today...
Hi guys, it's Amy. I'm back and absolutely loving seeing some more bad guys.
Absolutely, and what a set of bad guys it is. 3 silencers. That is kind of scary, and I'm a little bit jealous that Ben managed to get that on the table before I did, because I've got my 3rd silencer now and I wanted to play it, but he beat me to it. But let's quickly run through the list. So I will obviously go through the good guys, because we know that you have an aversion to them. So on the left, we've got Madbots. He is running 4 T-65 X-Wings. He has Wedge Antilles with Marksmanship, Predator, Plasma Torps, and the S-Foils. Corran with Predator, Cluster Missiles, R4 Astromech, and the S-Foils. Luke Skywalker with Elusive, Proton Torpedoes, R4 Astromech, Hull Upgrade, and the S-Foils. And rounding the list off, we have Wes Janson with Marksmanship, Proton Rockets, R2 Astromech, and the S-Foils. So some high initiative X-Wings there. And we mentioned the silencers, but in what variety are those silencers?
Oh, so we've got 3 varieties. So we've got Kylo Ren with Malice, Outmaneuver, and Plasma Torpedoes. One of my favourite pilots, we have Blackout with Lone Wolf, Sensor Scramblers, and Rockets. Commander Malice with Magpulse Warheads. And Rush with Predator, Fanatical, and Advanced Optics.
Yeah, it is nice to see triple silencers. And judging by the look of it, those are 2 of the newer silencers and one of the big bad boy silencers down there, which is obviously the Kylo Ren silencer for this one. But it's going to be an interesting matchup. It's, other than Rush, it's some very high initiatives in there. So that's going to be quite interesting. Although with Rush, once he is damaged, he will be classed as initiative 6. So do you take him out quickly or do you leave him alone? That is the question with Rush. But I expect
either way is dangerous. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. I mean, going up to I6 when he's damaged, so he's lost his shields and taken a hit point up to I6 is really cool. Sticking Fanatical on there, really playing into Rush's ability is actually quite interesting. Once he does take damage, though, it will mean that both sides have an I6 and 3 I5s, if everything is still on the board at that time. But I do know what you mean. Blackout is definitely a favourite of mine in the silencer.
So I always field Blackout in my silencer list, always. Although I think, to be honest, I've not flown Rush yet, but I have seen a lot about them, especially with the Predator, Fanatical, and Advanced Optics, which will help, really get those hits in, especially if you've got the focus token. That would be really helpful, providing, of course, you don't have 4 X-Wings coming straight at you to take you out in the first round, which I'm hoping Madbots isn't going to do just yet.
Yeah, I mean, 4 X-Wings is quite a list to come up against, especially, again, an I6 and 3 I5s, and one of the ones that's actually quite an interesting one is Wes Janson. I've got his car, but I don't fly T-65s very often, but myself and Madbots were talking about his ability and just how quite powerful that can actually be. So after you perform an attack, you may spend 1 charge to assign the defender 1 jam token. After you defend, you may also spend 1 charge to assign the attacker 1 jam token. So attack and defending, assigning a jam token, that's actually quite good against ships that are looking to utilize things for the double tap. So if you're looking at B-Wings with the S-Foils and their target lock, you can jam that lock off You've got certain gunners that require you to have a focus. Just getting rid of those tokens so that way they can't double tap or have those modded shots is really quite good, especially at the I5 step where you're going to be going at a similar time, if not like earlier shooting order than your opponent. So it's quite a fun ability, that. And all of these X-Wings are only 5 points apiece as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah, they're nice and chippy. It's quite nice to have 4 of the same, decent ship in the same list. I mean, if I could fit 4 decent silencers in a list, I would. I mean, like, one of my favorite lists from like 1.0, for example, was triple defenders. Naturally, you can't really do that anymore, I don't think. So it is quite nice to see.
Well,
But
yeah,
has it changed?
not yet, and possibly not, but with the Battle of Endor pack coming out, and now at the time of recording this commentary, we don't know the points, but Battle of Endor will have standard loadout defenders, and I am crossing all of my fingers, all of my toes, anything I can find, hoping that maybe, just maybe, we get a 6-point standard defender. I could be being very disbelieving here and being very naive, but if we could get a 6-point standard loadout defender, then you could maybe one day run triple defenders. I don't know how good that would be in any scenario other than, say, chance engagement. But come on, let's get 3 defenders back on the board at some point.
It'll be amazing.
I mean, I've got 3, 4. I've definitely got 3 defenders. I need to check my collection. I've definitely got 3. But yeah, it'd be nice to get the defenders back out. They're just so expensive.
They are. I'm probably going to make you a bit jealous. I've actually got 6.
I mean, that's
I
only
don't
playable in Epic.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was for Epic. I mean, especially when I was getting like the Raider Corvette out and the Gazanti, and then I literally just had a ridiculous amount of TIE fighters or defenders, whatever I decided to field and points allowed. But yeah, I usually use them for Epic games, which I do miss playing actually. I just haven't got the space anymore in the house.
Yeah, well, we did manage to get a big game up on the channel last week. Myself and Wes managed to get some large base ships on the board. There wasn't a wing of defenders, although I'm now wanting to do a wing of 6 defenders running in a wing. Oh, that just sounds ridiculously fun. But yeah, going back to this game, it looks like we are going to get some shooting very, very soon up in that top left-hand corner. I mean, we are waiting for Wedge to still do his maneuver, and did Wes clip?
I think the corner of the base is just on the gas cloud.
Well, nothing's being rolled, so I'm anticipating that Wes Janson did actually manage to avoid that, which is pretty lucky there. It gives him a nice shot lined up on Malice, and that's a beautiful barrel roll there from Wedge to get around Blackout. That is not the first time on the night that this was recorded that Ben has been barrel rolled away from up at the top of the board. We'll be interested to see if the result is the same. Oh, that's unfortunate. You really wish you had a focus there.
Yeah.
But the taking 1 Lone Wolf does not save him. But still, some early damage onto Blackout, and getting out of that arc was just, absolutely beautiful. And now Malice getting to have a go now. Is he going to use his ability, or is he just going to use that focus? Just the focus. And yeah, right, I think that's a good idea. If you've got the focus to spend on defense, just do it. But yeah, Malice, he's got a great ability. At the start of the engagement phase, he may spend 1 charge to gain 1 stress token. If you do, until the end of the round, while you defend or perform an attack, you may change all of your focus results to evade or hit results. Very powerful. Ooh. One shield off Malice, so a couple of points off of Blackout and Malice at this point. And just checking those objectives. As I said, we are playing Assault at the satellite array, so being at range one of those objectives is the key, or destroying your opponent's ships. And that leaves it 2 points to 1 in Ben's favour going into round 3. I'm looking at the bottom of the board there. 2 silencers versus 2 X-Wings. That's an interesting matchup, if you ask me.
Yeah. I think they're definitely going to go head-to-head. 2-on-2.
I mean, they can do. They've got similar stat lines in their health and everything, but I don't think I'd want to. I think the silencer, despite obviously being very strong, it still wants to flank around it. I mean, it's got 3 evades, so it could take a head-on, but again, you've got a lot of munitions there. Proton Torpedoes, Proton Rockets. Ben doesn't want to come up against them. He wants to avoid them, if at all possible, I think. And now that he's split Rush off as well. Oh, I'm really curious. I kind of want to see Kylo do maybe a 3 forward, bank to the left, and boost in alongside Corran Horn there. And that's a big close face-off there between Malice and Wes Janson in the middle. Impressive that there was no bump there, to be honest. Now, Malice is taking that lock onto Wes Janson. Basically, he's probably going to spend his charge in the engagement phase just to go for the have those like automatic focuses and use some mag pulse. What are you going to do there, Kylo? You've got 2 ships facing right at you. You don't want to get shot by both of them. Especially when they've got you locked. Barrel roll boost, or just maybe try and fly past and come back in later?
Ooh. Barrel roll.
Could barrel roll behind, but no, I think, yeah, nice boost. Not being shot, not getting any shots, but giving you a nice position, an unstressed position to turn back around in a moment. Also means that those X-Wings are going to have to do probably a K-turn for at least one of them, maybe a Talon roll to get back in on Kylo if that's the way they want to go. Luke's not in a great position to turn into the board with that gas cloud right there. He needs to get past that gas cloud before he can turn up if they want to ignore Kylo and start coming in up behind Rush. But that is a bit of a kill box coming in on Wes there. So I highly anticipate we're going to get a Magpulse from Malice. An obstructed shot from Blackout, which is what Blackout absolutely loves. If Wes Janson comes out of this with both of his shields, and he'd be, well, either of his shields, he'll be a very lucky X-Wing. Ooh, but Wedge coming in round the back, that's where it's going to get tricky.
Be interesting.
He's got to take that lock and just keep hammering it onto Blackout, right? Plasma torch into Blackout. No marksmanship or predator though, that's the issue. Oh, just focus, okay. Malice is using his ability. So he's got exploding focuses now, which will be pretty handy. On a TIE FO, it's not too bad either. They've got a fairly decent dial to clear those stresses. So let's see what Wedge can do on Black. Should have took the lock. Oh, does take the shield though. Too close for Lone Wolf. Now, I can't see what action Blackout actually did, whether he got the lock or he's got no focus token there. I'm pretty sure that lock that's on Wes Janson is from Malice. Oh, that is a pretty awful procket from Wes Janson there. Just 2. And exploding focuses with Malice's ability. That is brutal, especially the amount. You only get 1 chance with those, and that's not ideal.
No.
But Wes has just jammed that lock off of Malice, so no Magpulse there. Oh, this is some cold shooting from Madbots. Getting just like the odd result here and there. That's really not what he's looking for. Let's just hope his green dice are able to withstand this onslaught. So Blackout first. So just reminding Madbots of Blackout's abilities. So Wes gets he gets the bonus for being obstructed, but then loses 2 because of Blackout. And again, these dice have really gone cold. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, so there's the 2 shields.
2 going through.
Now, long range shot from Rush. Was that just? Oh, ho, ho. And that's the crit on Wes. So there we go. Half pointed there. Wounded pilot. Obviously, you don't score half points in assault, but not bad. And then with the scoring, yeah. Very, very cold, unfortunately. So he's kind of got to hope he's got get some really good modded shots next turn to try and start getting some damage in there. Now you might have noticed Malice has actually got his shield back up. Earlier they realised that, I believe it was Wes, his wings were closed. So it actually should have been -1 on the attack. So they re-rolled the attack, and that's why Malice is actually back up to full health again, because when they re-rolled it, no damage actually went through. Looks like the commander is now done with Wes and is probably going to see what he can do about Wedge. As if Wedge doesn't just fly straight down the board chasing it after Blackout. Ooh, Blackout moving very quickly there down the board. I think he's got some other X-Wings in sight that he wants to go for. Yep, he's after Luke.
Ooh. I mean, I had to agree with that decision. I would definitely take Luke off the board, purely because of the Force.
It is powerful, don't get me wrong. I mean, again, with Blackout's positioning there, it would have been nice for him to see if he could keep in on Wes Janson, but he had to be careful of Wedge coming in behind him. The gas cloud wasn't in a really ideal position for him to turn in, and then he opens up his side arc for those X-Wings if they don't just K-turn to try and take on Kylo. I mean, I'm kind of anticipating a K-turn here from Corran. Yeah. And I was thinking maybe we'd see a Talon from Luke to try and stick in close, but we was no double K-turning. So instead of Blackout's side being opened up to the X-Wings have opened up their side arcs to Blackout. And I don't think they've got range on Kylo, so that well played there for Ben. He got into a really nice position there. It's a little bit unfortunate for Madbots, unfortunately. You're just hoping that he is able to withstand that, and that is an R2 trigger from Wes Janson to get a shield back, so he will be disarmed, but really nicely moving past Rush there. So despite the slightly unfortunate positioning from those X-Wings, doesn't look currently like there's going to be a lot of shooting for the Rebels. So you see where Wedge is coming in now. The wounded pilot has been repaired on Wes Janson as well, so crit flipped and shield regained. Oh, that's a bump from Wedge.
Oh.
So it's only going to be one shot from Madbots and 3 bits of shooting for Ben, which I was only anticipating at most 2 shots from Ben this turn. it's definitely less than ideal there for Madbots. I do think that Luke should have probably done a Talon roll. Would have been better for him. I think it would have kept him closer to Kylo to actually get a shot off there. Let's see, does Wedge go for the rush or does he go for Malice? Doesn't matter, evaded. And Malice shot back is also evaded, so no harm, no foul. So no rockets from Blackout. I don't think he had the lock there anyway. But from Madbots. And that is shields down on Corran Horn there. So that is unfortunate. Oh, they're not just outside, are they?
They are literally just out by millimeters.
The only thing worse than not quite having range is being just out of range. Like if you're like a good inch or two out of range, it's fine. But if it's millimeters and you're having to hold them both down to try and pass the ruler through, that is just awful. And that's rush into Wedge.
Wow, nice roll.
Oh, that hurts quite a lot. Wedge is the one that's supposed to be annoying about like evades, not just. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's see. So points wise, so despite that unfortunate shooting phase there for Madbots, he does take the lead 5-4 in the points. But whilst they are getting their dials down and starting turn 5, I do just want to remind you guys, if you do enjoy what we're doing here at Out of Arc Gaming, you can support us on Patreon. The link is in the description below. It will get you access to our Discord, so you can have a chat with us about any games you've got, any crazy ideas you'd like to maybe see us try for you. If you go for our top tier on the Discord, you can actually send us a list that we will fly and get on the table. It can be anything crazy. We've so far had 2 lists of 4 rogues, which were great. And there was a Republic list way back in the day. But if you want to tell us what to fly, sign up for our top tier Patreon and we will get that on the table for you. Get that shield back up. So he is now back up to 2 shields. Oh, Luke, that does not look like a good spot to be in.
No.
I think that's a bump and a gas. Is the gas cloud definite? Is it a bump?
I think it is.
No, it clears it, but just not the gas cloud. Still on the gas cloud, unfortunately. So break all locks and roll to see if you get ionized. And obviously suffer a strain as well. So no ion there. Fortunately, it's 1 on a hit and 3 on a crit. But you know that if Luke's landed on it, Corran is also going to land on it. You just saw him slip off the obstacle, but he is getting ionized. Oof, that's... I don't think that's quite as bad as just being outside of range 5, but that is frustrating because neither going to make sure... Does Blackout clear there? Do you know what? I actually think I think Ben probably would have preferred it if Blackout didn't clear, because neither of them could shoot. And then he could have actually had a shot in there. With a strain, that would have been one less defense dice as well. I actually think that it doesn't happen often, but Ben probably wished he'd bumped. For a quick turnaround next turn, I think. Ooh. Barrel roll down and see if you can get some shots there. Or I don't know if Kylo will be able to get a shot. If you boosted, you might be able to get a shot on Corran. It'll be 1 up, 1 down for the obstacle and terrain. Okay, getting the range 1, that's going to be at Luke, because it won't be able to hit Corran, unfortunately, but that's not bad. Got a nice line there as well for next turn to avoid that gas cloud. And a lovely little sloop from Malice. Rush in a nice position as well, making it tricky for Wedge to be able to actually stay effective this turn without bumping. But there is another bump from Wedge. So he may be an I6, he may be rogue leader, but he's must have woken up on the wrong side of the cockpit this morning because he's not flying very well at all today.
No.
On Rush there. Not quite enough to activate Rush's ability, but that is going in the right direction there for Madbots. Unfortunately, the only shot that he has this turn. Yeah, Magpulse Warheads coming in from Malice. He's got the target locked. There we go. So that's going to be a... Yeah, so that's going to be a crit, a deplete, and a jam onto Wedge. So that's the focus gone. The deplete, which isn't so damaging because Wedge was already shot, unfortunately, but it does mean there's a fuel leak triggered on Wedge. So all Ben has to do now is sneak through 1 crit, and that will be Wedge taken out. And he's got a range 0 shot in a minute from Rush, but looks like we've got the range 1 from Kylo first, with Outmaneuver. Not great. but gets the crit through. And that's rushing to Wedge. I think that's Wedge gone. Wedge only has 2 evades. That's a crit. Fuel Leak going to trigger it. Yep, that's Rush. The I2 has taken out the I6 Wedge. That's big. That's a huge set of points for Ben there. That's a really dangerous gun off the board. And it's going to free up Malice and Rush to come back in now. And scoring-wise as well, some good scoring for Ben. It's now 5 points to 12 in Ben's favour going into turn 6. So taking Wedge out, stop them contesting that top left-hand objective, which Ben could then score it. Oh, but that is a bump on Rush. Is he going to hope to actually score damage to trigger Rush's I6 ability? Not this turn, he does. Now, Madbots is obviously hoping that he can get Wes and Luke into an effective position here. Corran is obviously Ion, so he can get away from that gas cloud. It might even be quite sneaky and come in behind Kylo, depending on where Kylo moves. But Ben's going to have to be wary of that. Although, I've just seen Ben's obviously got initiative. He obviously couldn't have planned for that. But he could be really sneaky. If he puts himself right in front of Luke so that Luke can't complete his move, that could leave Corran stuck on the obstacle.
It would be quite good.
Yeah, it'd be handy. That could do it. I don't think Luke's going to be doing a 1 forward.
No, I reckon it'll be faster than that, just to get out of the way. It's a little bit busy around that gas cloud.
No, I'm thinking he might have tried to do 1 forward, anticipating Kylo going faster. Oh, this is... Right, focusing on staying there. I really want to see now yeah, like that. I like that a lot. Yes, that is the right move from Wes Janson as well. He's got Marksmanship live on Kylo. Oh, giving up Marksmanship. Okay. Probably looking to avoid being shot at there, but I think I would have gone a bit more aggressive. Oh. Luke going for the 2-turn. That is not clearing there. Now let's hope that Corran has decided to go to the right with his Ion move. And it does not look like he has. Oh, but he does clear. So that's fine. He does damage himself on Luke, which is less fine. But it does mean that Corran will have a shot. So we do have 3 shots that can go into Kylo.
Which I should imagine he's probably not going to be too happy about.
No. He's probably not going to be too happy about that at all. But there's not much you can do. But that's a shield down on Luke. Let's see. So that is Blackout. Was that into Corran Horn there? Yep. Yeah, right choice there, I think. No modifications, already taken a fair amount of damage, so if you can sneak some more in, that's going to be good. Right, let's see what Kylo can do here. 3 shots. You've got to start with Luke, really, I think. See if Luke can strip maybe that focus away. But it's so many mods there for Kylo, it's going to be tricky for Madbots to get a whole heap of damage in unless Ben really has some bad rolling. A little bit of a debate on something there, but here we go, checking the attacks. Is he going to go Corran first, I wonder? I think I would go Luke, then Wes, then Corran. Or actually maybe Wes, if the focus isn't spent, then jam it off. I mean, that's not really going to do it.
No, it's not ideal.
I mean, the good thing is he doesn't have to hit. It just has to be after you perform an attack. So, yeah, he can just jam that straight off. Could have been better. I mean, another hit going through, that would have actually been damage, so that would have been quite nice. But only 2 force left, so if Luke or Corran can get a really good hit and force Ben to spend that, that could be quite handy. Force starving Kylo Ren will be good. Two, not bad. Oh, and I believe that's the I'll show you the dark side coming in there. Something we don't see very often. Well, that's...
I have to admit, I don't use that card very often myself. I probably should do, to be fair. It is a good condition card.
I mean, in all honesty, I tend to take Kylo Ren more for the fact that he's an I5 with the Force in either the Silencer or the... Well, I mean, in the TIE Whisper, he doesn't have the I'll show you the dark side. He's got a different ability, but... Yeah, in the Silencer, I don't take him for his ability. I take him because he's in a really cool ship with 2 Force. And if you're taking the Kylo Ren crew card purely for the I'll show you the dark side, then I don't really know what to say. I just don't 9 points for that. You're probably again just take it to give yourself the Force. I think there's much better options, but you don't often take anything in FO for the crew capabilities. But the point swing has got a lot larger there. It's now 6 points to 15. It's not out of Madbots' hand here. He can bring this back if he gets some good damage in on Rush. But Rush is fairly far away. I mean, Rush is 5 points. Kylo is 7. Blackout is 5 points. Malice is the cheapest ship on the board there, and you're not really going to want to go for him. But ideally, Madbots just wants to clear this cluster of ships here at the moment, get a bit of breathing room.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Give it a bit more room to think.
But it's been fairly nicely positioned from Ben, making sure he's in a position to capture those objectives. I mean, he's got 5 points for taking Wedge out, but he's got 10 points from objectives so far throughout. So his objective game has been really solid. Taking Wedge out as well really helped with that, because that would have contested one of the objectives earlier, so would have kept it a little bit closer. Oh, another bump for those X-Wings. Oh, no, not a bump. Okay. That must have been by millimeters again.
Yeah, it looks like it's been a game for that, where it's just been so many close calls.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some objectives that have been just out. There's been ranges just out. That just fitted. I mean, earlier, Wes only just getting past the obstacle. And I'm not going to lie, I can imagine that 90% of players, whenever they're talking about Wes Janson, don't have an issue with that. But because there's a Wes in our local community, every time I refer to a ship as Wes, I still have to remember that I'm not talking about one of the local players. It's really, really weird, that. That is a cluster of ships right there in the middle.
It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6 ships. Wow.
Yeah. Just rush off in the corner.
Just bonkers.
Rush is just there in the corner, having a bit of a fly around, just going, they let me fly in a silencer today.
Yeah.
It's like when the paintwork gets damaged, like, oh no, I've got to pay attention. They're going to be really angry with me. And that's why he goes to I6. But this is going to be big. All of the ships there in the middle are going to be able to shoot because they're all I5. So it doesn't matter if any of them go down. They are all shooting at the same time. Now I'm looking at it and seeing all of Madbots' ships have a shot on Malice, but I don't think that's the right target. I think he's got to try and... It looks like he might actually be going for Malice, maybe seeing that as the one to go for, but Wes obviously definitely going in there has jammed off that target lock, which is good. Looks like Madbots is just going all in on Malice there. So I mean, he has got 3 shots there. And that's a shield and a hull off. Personally, I think I would have gone into Kylo, because he's only got the Force, but
Yeah, I
He's
mean, I
both,
can understand going for Malarus though, especially with him only having 2 hull left.
yeah. I mean, I was thinking maybe if he used Wes to strip that jam, strip that target lock off for Malarus, and then Luke and Corran go into Kylo. But yeah, one health left on Malarus there. I'm just looking at those objectives as well. I'm pretty sure I can see. Ooh, that's
Just
not
one crit.
nice. Just one crit
No.
on Corran.
And that's out of 5 dice at range
Oh,
1 as well.
yeah. I mean, that is. You
It
hate
still
to see
doesn't go
it.
through.
You hate to see it.
It's usually my dice, to be fair.
I mean, I've had it go both ways. I've had. I mean, we saw in the Patreon game, I had the perfect 5 dice, well, almost perfect 5 dice roll, 4 crits and a focus, with a focus. So I just turned it to a hit. It was good. That is going to be Corran Horn down. That is big. Oh, Corran's only 4 points by the look of it. Interesting. But no, that is the tipping point. I mean, Ben is guaranteed 2 objectives for definite there. The one behind Blackout and the one by Rush, and he will claim the center objective as well. So objective wise, that is going to go in Ben's favor. Oh, looks like they accidentally took away the wrong ship. They took Luke instead of Corran.
It's easily done, especially when there's that many ships in the middle of the board altogether.
Yeah, it really is easily done. And I think Ben just making sure the angle is right was actually quite key, because if it was Malarus shooting, but if it was Kylo, it could have been different because of the outmaneuver. But yeah, going to the point, so Madbots is going to score, looks like 1 more, and we've got at least 3 to Ben there, so it is going to be a final score, 7 points to Madbots, 22 to Ben. So it was, I'm not going to lie, in the early game it was quite close, but there was just a couple of unfortunate positions there that Madbots got himself into where he couldn't capitalize on Ben having to turn around, and then it was from those K turns, turning back in, landing on the obstacle, just didn't quite pan out. And then there's lovely shots on Kylo that Kylo just went, "You're right, mate, I'm not taking it," was unfortunate. So yeah, really well played there by Ben. He had opportunities and he took them. Unfortunate from Madbots, but I know it's not going to stop him flying those X-Wings. He's going to come back, trying them again, and the bad guys won. I hope that makes you happy.
Always happy. Always happy when the bad guys win.
But there are children in the galaxy that are upset right now, and I hope
Sorry.
that weighs on your conscience. No, I mean
Sorry,
we
children.
have our factions. Don't get me wrong. Empire is my favorite faction. So what can I really say, to be honest? But yeah, no. Thank you very much for joining us, Amy. Again, I hope you enjoyed that one.
I did. Thank you very much, and well done, Madbots and Ben, and thank you, Phil, for having me again.
No worries. And guys, that is another game done. Another victory for the First Order. Who's going to come up for us in the next matchup? We'll have to wait and see. But guys, again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.